So now I take the pleasure to welcome our chief guest of the day. We have in the midst of us Shri M.T.B. Nagaraj. He's an Indian political from our Karnataka state. Can we have a round of applause to welcome the minister onto the dais, please? We request you to kindly join us onto the dais, sir. He's our current Minister of Small-Scale Industries and Municipal Administration of Karnataka. He's a member of Karnataka Legislative Council from the BJP since the year 2020. It's indeed our pleasure to have you here today, sir. Now I take the pleasure to welcome our guest of honor, Shri T.N. Koshi. He is the CEO of Open Network of Digital Commerce India. Can we have a round of applause to welcome the gentleman onto the dais, please? So we request our minister and Mr. Koshi sir to kindly join us in lighting of the Kuthu Belakku, the lighting of the lamp. We like to begin the event with the lighting of the lamp. So we kindly request both of you to do the honors. Taking a step forward towards the lighting of the lamp is the most auspicious way to start an event. Lamp lighting marks an auspicious beginning to the conference. All our conferences commence with the lighting of the lamp, as the light symbolizes knowledge. Lord is the knowledge principle, who is the source, the enlivener, and the illuminator of all knowledge. Knowledge removes ignorance, as light removes darkness. So ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for our first keynote speaker of today. That's going to be T. Koshi, who is the MD and the CEO, ONDC, who will be talking to us about the future consumer for the year 2025. Can we hear it loud for him, please? Come on, everybody. Let's see the energy of the Bangalore.
Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, it's an exciting day for me to be here with you all as a part of my evangelization journey which I have taken in the past few months. You are all the captains of the retail industry, and what I am going to present briefly to you is what at ONDC we believe is the role that this new initiative could harbor for all of us. We believe that it is at the cusp of a total transformation. The digital commerce is at the cusp of a total transformation. And this is being eagerly looked by people in India as well as in the world around. What gives me this confidence to make this tall claim of this global interest in this initiative coming from our country? You know, if you really look at the way internet has evolved and has reached this much, very high level of sophistication across the world, the very nature and the structure poses some challenges for the future. And this is something that is explained and experienced not just in India but all over the world. And different countries and different economies are trying to address this in different fashion. If you look at the Chinese, they said that there is a very serious concern about market concentration, so I'm going to exert more control. The Americans said that let's get the FTC and the chairman, I think Liza Khan, to come and find a way to bring more discipline in this market. European Union has recently announced, as a public document, I think it's worth looking at it, digital market access regulation, which again talks in detail about the same set of challenge. And they are approaching this from the regulation route. In India, we decided that we will take a different approach. That we are looking, instead of a regulatory or a legal sledgehammer or a mandate, we are looking at a way of using technology and marketplace with enabling policies the other way around than some of the other attempts. And we believe that that is a more fair and liberal and transparent mechanism which ensures participation in a broad cross-section of the industry. And what is this challenge that we are talking about? There are two challenges that has been very well documented in all this documents which I talked about. Is the challenge of contestability and the possibility of not so healthy or not so transparent business practices. So what is this issue of contestability? The very nature of the digital commerce today, which is which if you look at around the world, see very high amount of market concentration among few players. If you look at the global trade, global scenario, 4 Chinese companies together hold about 42% of the total digital commerce. And this is a kind of situation in everywhere, not just in India. We also see the similar thing in India. So it is not because of any, I would say that any kind of practices by any of these entities, but the very nature of the way the industry has progressed. Of a platform-centric approach which uses proprietary technology to provide end-to-end services from seller interface to buyer interface, which is fantastic. It is giving economies of scale, it is giving innovation and all of them. But because they are structured in a way of proprietary technologies, it leads to what you call the network effect. And it means that it will lead to concentration. And it will restrict competition and innovation outside of this small club. And that is what we are trying to address. We demonstrated with confidence in the financial payment system when we did the similar kind of things in UPI, with all the stories all known to you. And now we are attempting in a more complex situation of digital commerce. So what is this transformation I'm talking about, this democratization I'm talking about? This transformation is about unbundling and interoperability. Unbundling means the building blocks of commerce, whether it is servicing of the sellers, whether it is logistics, whether it is warehousing or buyer onboarding, everything can be unbundled and can be managed by special agencies. But when you unbundle and it is given to special agencies, there is a challenge of seamless commerce. So that is where the interoperability becomes a critical element. So the interoperability and unbundling together provides humongous amount of opportunities for specialization and innovation without compromising on the consumer experience. In fact, this new paradigm is, in my opinion, eventually when it matures, will offer a more seamless commerce. Let us look at it a little more. So when I'm just taking a few examples to sort of make this point. Think about customer service on one side and seller service on the other side. Both are critical for commerce, and both come together to make the life meaningful for the seller and convenient for the buyer. But both their priorities are different. While each seller would want to maximize their interest and take any support and contribution from the marketplace to make it happen, every buyer would like to optimize what they can get. So let's take the case that, so that means the focus in both sides are going to be a little different. And everybody, we all try to do a balancing act of it. Now, the unbundling and interoperability offers much more options. Look at, today there are many entities in our country who are providing consumer service in some field or the other, nothing to do with e-commerce. Bankers are giving, fintech companies are giving, telcos are giving. Telcos together will have almost 1 billion or more consumers. Bankers together will have similar kind of consumers. Fintech will have, similar numbers. But if they all want, any of them or all of them want to offer more products and services to the consumers, they have a challenge. Because they need to find out people who could provide the products and services, and they are not there available in the open market. They are captive to certain platforms. When I say captive, it's not a legal captivity. I'm not insinuating anything. But the way the walled gardens function make that unless you have a captive audience of buyers and sellers, you cannot have business together. Now the open protocol offered by ONDC makes it different. Let's take this, a telco decide to provide commerce. They need to give a front end of commerce to their clients and make that front end ONDC protocol compliant, which means that these buyers are now available in the open network, and that buyers will be able to interface with any sellers who is there. Similarly, imagine a specialized or general platform who has capability to service a segment of sellers, maybe small and medium enterprises, maybe people who provide artifacts, develop artifacts and sell from the state of Karnataka. Probably there could be Kanjipuram silk producers. There could be smart enterprises who will be able to provide very specialized services to manage this business, including making their catalogs visible digitally. But if they make it visible digitally today, they have nobody to look at it, very limited people to look at it, or to make people look at it, it's going to be a very expensive affair. But now, with the ONDC protocol, if they make this catalog visible using compliant ONDC protocol, they are now visible to all the buyers, which I talked about earlier. So now what we have is a common pool of buyers and a common pool of sellers, and the seller platform looking at the interest of the sellers to make sure that they are able to service their client and establish their credibility to be attractive to the buyer population, and the buyer agencies are going to look at and find out very smart way of helping them to make the right buy, whether it is using AI, ML, trying to find out patterns and trends, etc., and telling them this is a way I can help you to make the right buy decision, and continuously innovate in doing that to attract people to them, including taking up any customer grievance and highlighting that to any of the sellers who have made the sale for them. And the sellers realize they have no captive buyers now available with them. Unless they establish as a credible service provider, they will get a network-wide bad reputation, which will completely kill their business because there is no captive audience for them to look forward to. This is a structural change. And this, we are saying, this is going to cause people to develop building blocks like the Lego blocks, and smart people to stitch together using the protocol to provide very, very exciting services. And that's why in this center of digital revolution in India, which is Bangalore, I'm appealing to all this smart and savvy people to look at what this possibility entails. In the earlier stages, we all had the capability and the ideas, but we had no opportunity. But this new paradigm is giving you fantastic opportunity. So my appeal to all of you is to take use of this opportunity and come out with smarter solution. As I was entering, I met one gentleman out, we were talking. So I asked him, what's your thought about ONDC? What do you think it's going to happen? So he said, is there an option? So he was saying in a very light-hearted fashion and I said, there is definitely an option because it's not mandatory, it is purely optional. But on the other side, from a business compulsion point of view, any smart people will realize that that's not an option. And that's the message I want to throw it at you. And in this limited time, And if you want to know more about ONDC, we have a website, ondc.org. And every week we conduct a weekly session for giving a lot more details for the people who want to take action and not just give the big picture stories. And we welcome you there. And with this brief intro, let me just wind up. I know that you're all awaiting for grand days in today and tomorrow to listen to very many new ideas and thought. Thank you.
Check. Thank you so much, Mr. Koshi. So audience, do you have any questions? If yes, you can raise your hand and we'll have the mic right next to you. Okay. All right, I think we already have 2 members who lifted the hand. Is it okay? Yeah. Can we have the mic passed, please, from the console?
Hi, my question is about ONDC platform. You said it is like a Lego block which people can plug together. Do we have any information, because I didn't find that information on website, that what is inherently provided by ONDC and what is left for other people to innovate around?
Quickly, our ONDC website is ondc.org. So it's not ondc.com. And then you will see a strategy paper lying there. And if you just click inside and express your interest to be participant in there, there's a lot of material available in GitHub. It's an open document. Like the name suggests, we are a very open entity, and everything about what we are doing is open. So, we'll be happy. And like I said, if you also need any questions, you can send to team@ondc.org, and we'll definitely come back to you. And incidentally, one correction for you: we are not a platform. We are just establishing enabling protocol for multiple platforms to come together and interact with each other in a common language. And that's what we are doing. And that will stimulate a lot more expanded action among all these components together.
Thank you.
Anyone else who has a question? Yeah, can we have the mic passed here? Could you just lift your hand?
Oh, thank you, sir. Thanks for your enlightening vision on ONDC. So I just have one question. So I have one question. Is it fair to categorize ONDC as a UPI movement for e-commerce?
Simple answer is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, we have one more question. Can you I request the hostess to come forward. Yeah, we have a gentleman right there who's lifting the hands up. Yeah, please.
Thank you. Sir, I believe you guys did a pilot in a couple of cities, right? I was just curious, what did you conclude was the biggest challenges going forward, expanding it pan-India?
Can you just repeat it again?
So you guys did a pilot in a couple of cities, Delhi, Mumbai, and a couple more, Shillong, I guess. So I was just curious, what was your conclusion as to the biggest challenges expanding it to pan-India?
No, as you would have understood that this is not a centralized platform which is launched by an entity. It's not like launching a banking system or a stock exchange or an e-commerce platform. It's enabling of network. That means multiple entities coming together and integrating. Okay. So we believe that the biggest responsibility for us is to evangelize this idea to a broad cross-section of entrepreneurs and enterprises to feel comfortable about joining this network. So what we did, the intention of our limited pilot was two. want to actually, because it's going to be network, it's going to be handled by different participants, we want to experience a challenge on the field, because this cannot be seen tested on ground, only in the labs. So that is giving us a way to document a playbook to help a lot of people. And on the other side, that also gave a lot of confidence to multiple enterprises and industries that this will work. And this is going to start soon. In fact, when I met many people, they said, we didn't expect that you guys will have the comfort to kickstart so early, which shows the conviction and the confidence of the larger audience. And that has given comfort to a lot of people to now actively start their process of integration. Some will happen slow, some will happen fast. And some of them even taking public position of their intention to be key players in ONDC, some major players. So these, I believe these are the kind of measures that we need to take in this, the whole effort of evangelization of a transformatory idea for which there is no global parallel.
Right. And sir, did we notice any difference between the small players and the big players onboarding them, and how valuable it is for them?
Yeah, the small players will have no lack of familiarity, so that's where we believe that we do a lot of help, and I believe that people like you will come out with a lot of standardized solution, because at the end of it's a protocol, and if you can develop a standard solution, dovetailing to some of the industry requirement, it's a question of configuration for different people, and that is why it is going to open up a lot of opportunity. It's no more few marketplaces concentrated. It is going to be a large number of platforms all coming together, democratic place, taking care of advantage of the large population in our country and the large market. Today, if you look at the e-commerce penetration is nothing but less than 10%, 6-7%. And that, if you have to go to 40-50%, it's possible only if we have solution which matches the buyer-seller combination of diverse kind. It's like in the hotel industry, you cannot only have 5-star. We need 5-star, 2-star, 3-star, 1-star, and no star. I'm not saying make it a flea market, but in an organized marketplace of different buyer-seller combination can coexist. And that is what we are enabling. It is not that only few people who will determine how the digital commerce has to be done. It is all of us together determining, all of us having our own our own way of selling, with the endpoints taking a position of what they're possible for them, and the buyer saying that this is what I want. So the options, and enable such clusters of buyer-seller combination to come up.
Right. And so one more thing, this could be a little vague, but at some point, do you think we need an intervention, because this is like an open platform and big players can again influence? So I just wanted to know if you guys are thinking at some point you'll have to have some policy-based intervention or something.
As it evolves, first and foremost, PCC is an enabling system. Right. Okay, as it evolves, as any sector evolves, that sector, the policy makers will look at what are the ways to bring order to the sector. So nothing about ONDC to the sector itself. ONDC is not the sector, and sector is not just ONDC. So the sectorial transformation will take place. But they can all be based on the possibilities that ONDC has brought about. And that's a big difference.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for answering the question, sir, with a lot of patience. And I request all the participants, one question per person, please. Thank you so much. All right, so I take the immense pleasure to welcome our next speaker, who is going to be our chief guest of today. As we all know, anyone who has reached the top in, be it a business, politician, any categorization, it's all about first having the greatest knowledge, and above all, applying the knowledge and playing it right on the ground. So it's indeed a pleasure to talk about Shri M.T.B. Nagaraj ji, who started his career as just an ITI factory contractor, and now he owns many, many IT companies. It's indeed a pleasure to tell that he owns around 1,500 acres of land in BBMP area, and about 10 to 12 lakhs of square feet floor spaces just for IT, and from which he earns a monthly rental of about 12 crores. And last but not the least, it gives me immense pleasure and honor to have him here today, the richest MLA in Karnataka. Can we have a round of applause to have the gentleman here to address the gathering, please? I request you, sir, to kindly join us forward in addressing the gathering. So how many of you are comfortable here with Kannada? Put your hands up. I think it's always lovely to hear your own mother tongue at your own place. Okay, all right. Thank you. So we have few of them who are comfortable with Kannada, and I request, sir, to kindly join us. Please, sir.
ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿಟ್ಟಿರು. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ವೇದಿಕೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಸೀನರಾದಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಉದ್ಯಮಿಗಳೇ, ವೇದಿಕೆಯ ಮುಂಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸೀನರಾದಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಒಂದು ಫ್ರಾಂಚೈಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ IRCC 2022 ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸೀನರಾದಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಹ್ವಾನಿತ ಉದ್ಯಮಿಗಳೇ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಮತ್ತು ಮಧ್ಯಮ ಉದ್ಯಮಿಗಳೇ, ಇವತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ MSME ಉದ್ಯಮಿಗಳ ಪಾತ್ರ ಬಹಳ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾಗಿ ಈ ದೇಶದ GDPಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ MSME ವಲಯದ ಕೊಡುಗೆ 40% ಕೂಡ ಒಪ್ಪಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಕೃಷಿ ವಲಯ ಅದು ಮೊದಲನೆಯದಾದ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಉದ್ಯಮಿ. ಕೃಷಿ ವಲಯ ಹೊರತುಪಡಿಸಿ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನಮಾನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡನೆಯ ವಲಯ ಅದು ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಸೃಜನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ MSME ಕೂಡ ಎರಡನೇ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಈ MSME ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯ 5ನೇ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಕೂಡ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಇದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯವು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಆಧಾರಿತ ಸ್ಮಾರ್ಟಪ್ ಉದ್ಯಮಗಳಿಗೆ ದೇಶದ ರಾಜಧಾನಿಯಾಗಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಅಮೆಜಾನ್, ಫ್ಲಿಪ್ಕಾರ್ಟ್ ಹಾಗೆ ನಂತರ ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಕಚೇರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಹೊಂದಿರುತ್ತವೆ. ಈ ಹೊಸ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳ ನಿಧಿ 2020-25 ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಯಾಗುವ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ, ಸಣ್ಣ ಮತ್ತು ಮಧ್ಯಮ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳ ವಲಯಗಳನ್ನು ಆಧರಿಸಿ 10ರಿಂದ 35% ಬಂಡವಾಳ ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ಉತ್ತೇಜನ ಕೂಡ ಸಹಾಯಕವಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ಸ್ಟಾಂಪ್ ಶುಲ್ಕ ವಿನಾಯಿತಿ ಮತ್ತು ನೋಂದಣಿ ಶುಲ್ಕ ವಿನಾಯಿತಿ, ಭೂ ಪರಿವರ್ತನೆ ಶುಲ್ಕ ವಿನಾಯಿತಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮರುಪಾವತಿ, ವಿದ್ಯುತ್ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಸಹಾಯಧನ, ಹೊಸ ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಳವಡಿಕೆಗೆ ಬೆಂಬಲ, IST BSI ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟ ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತೇಜನ, ಮಳೆ ನೀರು ಕೊಯ್ಲು ಮತ್ತು ತ್ಯಾಜ್ಯ ನೀರು ಸಂಸ್ಕರಣೆ ಘಟಕ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಹಾಯಧನ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕೂಡ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು ನೀಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳಡಿ ಕಳೆದ ಸಾಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ MSME ವಲಯದ ವಿವಿಧ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳಡಿ ಒಟ್ಟು 292 ಕೋಟಿ ಬಿಡುಗಡೆಯಾಗಿದ್ದು 3209 ಫಲಾನುಭವಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಇದರ ನೆರವು ಕೂಡ ಪಡೆಯಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಏಕಗವಾಕ್ಷಿ DLSWCC ಸಮಿತಿಯಡಿ 1250 ಯೋಜನೆಗಳಡಿ ಒಟ್ಟು 377 ಕೋಟಿ ಬಂಡವಾಳ ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ಅನುಮೋದನೆ ಕೂಡ ನೀಡಲಾಗಿದ್ದು, ಒಂದು 5,07,055 ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ನಿಗಮದ KSSIEC ವತಿಯಿಂದ ರಾಜ್ಯದಾದ್ಯಂತ 190 ಕೈಗಾರಿಕಾ ವಾತಾವರಣಗಳನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಇವುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳು ಒಟ್ಟು 18,703 ನಿವೇಶನಗಳ ಮಳಿಗೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಗೋದಾಮುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಿರ್ಮಿಸಿದ್ದು, ಈ ಪೈಕಿ 4,997 ಉದ್ಯಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೆಯಾಗಿದ್ದು, 206 ನಿವೇಶನಗಳನ್ನು ಈ ಮಳಿಗೆಗಳ ಗೋದಾಮುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಹಂಚಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಲಭ್ಯವಾಗಿದೆ. ಏಷ್ಯಾದ ಅತಿ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕಾ ಪ್ರದೇಶವಾಗಿರುವ ಪೀಣ್ಯ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕಾ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಮೂಲ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ 100 ಕೋಟಿ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ಬಿದರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಸಹಯೋಗದೊಂದಿಗೆ 90 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಗಳ ವೆಚ್ಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲಿಯಂ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ CIEPT ಕೇಂದ್ರವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಆರಂಭಿಸಲು ಅನುಮೋದನೆ ಕೂಡ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನೀಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಯೋಜನೆಗೆ ಕೌಶಲ್ಯಾಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಮತ್ತು ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸಲಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ತಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಇ-ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿ ರಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಶಸ್ಸುಗೊಳಿಸುವ ಉದ್ಯಮಶೀಲ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕೂಡ ಇದನ್ನು ಗುರುತಿಸಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಅವಾರ್ಡ್ ನೀಡುವ ಮೂಲಕ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹಿಸುವ ಮೂಲಕ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯ ನಿಜಕ್ಕೂ ಶ್ಲಾಘನೀಯವಾಗಿದ್ದು ಉತ್ಸಾಹಿಸುವ ಮಿತ್ರರು ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಹೊಂದಲು ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಸಣ್ಣ ಮತ್ತು ಮಧ್ಯಮ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆ ಇಲಾಖೆ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯ ಸಹಕಾರ ನೀಡಲು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಬದ್ಧವಾಗಿದ್ದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬಗೆಹರಿಸಲು ಸಹ ಆಘಾತಾಯ ಕ್ರಮ ಕೂಡ ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳಲಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಬಯಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಈ ಕಳೆದ 2 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಕೋವಿಡ್-19 ಎಂಬ ಈ ಮಹಾಮಾರಿ ಈ ಕಾಯಿಲೆ ಕೂಡ ಇಡೀ ವಿಶ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಈ ರೋಗ ಸಾಂಕ್ರಾಮಿಕ ರೋಗ ಆವರಿಸಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆ ಮಧ್ಯಮ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು ರೋಗ ಪೀಡಿತ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಆ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳ ಆದಾಯ ಕೂಡ ಅತಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಕಳೆದ 2 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಳ ಆದಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಭಾಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಕೂಡ ಭಾಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಮಧ್ಯಮ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಕಳೆದ 2 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಭಾಳ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಇಳುವರಿಕೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಕೈಗಾರಿಕಾ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಸೆಪ್ಟೆಂಬರ್ 30ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಎಂಬ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು 2 ದಿವಸದಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ದಾವೋಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ ಮೀಟನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವು ಕೂಡ ಆಯೋಜನೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅತಿ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳು ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಮತ್ತು ನೆರವು ಕೊಡಲುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ನಮ್ಮ 2 ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತು ಈ ಉದ್ಯಮಗಳು ಅತಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಸುಧಾರಣೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮಾನ್ಯ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾದಂಥ ನರೇಂದ್ರ ಮೋದಿಜಿಯವರು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾದಂಥ ಬಸವರಾಜ ಬೊಮ್ಮಾಯಿ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಈ ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕಾ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಸಹಕಾರ ನೀಡುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ನಮ್ಮ 2 ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನಾವು ಬದ್ಧವಾಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಈ ಫ್ರಾಂಚೈಸಿಂಡಿಯಾ IRCC 2022 ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಸತತವಾಗಿ 10 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ತಾವು ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರ, ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಲಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಯಸಿ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಆಹ್ವಾನವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಈ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿ ಈ ಸಭೆ ಯಶಸ್ವಿಯಾಗಿ ನಡೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ರೂಪಿಸಿದಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯವರಿಗೂ ನಾನು ವಂದಿಸಿ ನಾನು ಕೂಡ 2 ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕಾ ಉದ್ಯಮಗಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಈ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಉದ್ಯಮಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ನೀಡುವ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಉದ್ಘಾಟನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಉದ್ಯಮಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ನೀಡಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಭಾಳ ಯಶಸ್ವಿಯಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಮುಂದುವರೆದಿದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ನಿವೇಶನವನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ 31 ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಕ್ವಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗಳು ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಭೂಮಿ ಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂದ ಸಾಲ ವಿತರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಪರಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಜಾತಿ ಪರಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಪಂಗಡಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಿದೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ, ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರವು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಮುಂದಾಗಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಮಾತನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಉದ್ಯಮಗಳಿಗೂ ಹೋಲಿಸಿ ನನ್ನ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಮಾತು ಮುಗಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable note in Kannada. Thank you so much. Now I request Ritu to kindly just do the honors in giving a memento to both our esteemed chief guest and guest of honor for today. Can I request the hostess to kindly help us with the memento, please? We'd like to thank Shri MTB Nagaraj ji for sparing your valuable time and gracing the occasion. And we'd like to thank Mr. T. Koshi for his invaluable sharing of experience and knowledge with us. Thank you so much.